Very pleasant. Good morning, everybody. A Wednesday edition of the Defo Show featuring one Mike Lubie Lubitz. We go old school later on, brought to you by Texas Roadhouse Restaurants with legendary South Florida broadcaster and internationally acclaimed newscaster and sportscaster, the great Tony Segreto will be joining us, along with Ed Garcia, who might be a little bit nervous about his Michigan Wolverines in the NCAA tournament, although definitively in there with a shot, Mike Lubie Lubitz. We will get to that later on in the program. But the headlines are screaming, Lubie. They're screaming. You've been calling for this forever. When is Bam Adebayo going to wake the F up and start becoming an offensive force? And now he's number two. I don't believe anybody will ever score 100 like Will Chamberlain did.
No.
Number two. I mean, if Bam Adebayo didn't do it last night, then it's probably never going to be done. There may be somebody that comes along later on. It's in the womb right now that I won't be around to see. But nonetheless, 83 points, Bam Adebayo. That was the headline that swept over just about everything. And there were incredible things happening yesterday, including
America. You're a great American lineup.
Talk about premature evaluation. That's another story that we have to touch on. But we want to get into this. Geno Smith back to the Jets.
Yeah, there you go.
CBC ready to crank up. I have a little reverse handicapping theory. I always thought that Long Island basketball was just as good. I don't know if you could say it's just as good as what was going on in the city. I mean, when you go to Rutgers Park, and watch the boys play. But yeah, Long Island basketball. Well, white Jewish kids could play ball back in the day, Lubie. We were okay when you didn't have to be a 7-footer to be a guard in the NBA. It was a whole different ball game, and I always thought Long Island played a pretty good brand of basketball. When I went out to California, I still felt like fundamentally the things that we did playing half-court recreational ball on Long Island were much closer to what the game was supposed to be about than even these guys. And when it came to Florida, nobody knew what the hell was going on. You would set a pick away from the ball, and a guy would run the other way. You're like, well, what are you doing? Right? I mean, the most basic play in basketball outside of the weave is to throw the ball to the right and then go set a pick on the guy who's cutting around you to the left. Basic stuff. And you would go ahead and do that. You pass the ball off to the right. You run, set the pick. Guy smashes into you, and you're thinking, okay, the shooter should be wide open to receive a pass here. And he's in the corner going, here. Very frustrating when people don't understand the fundamentals. But we did have both LIU, Long Island University, and Hofstra, two Long Island-based colleges, get into the NCAA tournament. So that was a major victory for all of us former Long Islanders who thought that we could play some ball. All right, let's analyze this thing, Lubie. I'll get your thoughts first about Bam Adebayo's 83. As Andy sends me a text, I just tuned in the game, and it was like 36 to whatever, 24. First quarter, end of the first quarter, and I'm perusing channels there. I was watching a lot of tennis, Indian Wells, great stuff all day and last night. Major marquee matchups, both women's and men's. A lot of really tough matches also, including we had Sinner against this hot Brazilian 19-year-old João Fonseca, and you had Osaka going against Sabalenka. She got smoked, Osaka, in the tournament. It was kind of a fashion show competition also, and maybe we'll have some time to get some thoughts on that, but. Bam, 83 points. I tune in, and Andy sent me a text that Bam's already got 30 points in the first quarter. And I'm looking and going, the whole team only has 36. He 30 of the 30. And he must have been on fire in the first quarter.
Yes.
And then some of those numbers, the percentages started to go down to the point of almost chucker-like proportion.
The first 2.5 to 3 quarters, he dominated. The last quarter, they were hunting, which I don't. Again, I guess people didn't actually watch the Kobe game. I had the NBA package, and I was in college, and we all were home that night. And I to this day, it's now, Jesus, it's like 20-something years. I remember being in the apartment with two of my best friends still to this day, and we were talking all last night during the game, having flashbacks. And because we would watch NBA, they were Knicks fans, I was Heat fans. But we would always keep an eye on the games. And I remember the bottom line saying Kobe had like 50 in like the third. And I remember going to the rooms going, Kobe has 50 in the third. We go into the living room. We found the game. We all hated Kobe. Like, they're Knicks fans. And I just hated Kobe. I was never a fan of the guy that was like bigger than the game guy. I hated Jordan. I hated Kobe. Like, But I'm a basketball fan. We turned on the game and we were rooting for Kobe to get every ball, to get every basket. We didn't want him to leave the floor. I didn't care if he got free throws. I didn't care how it was. And I, again, hated Kobe. I rooted against him at every turn. I couldn't stand that Lakers team with Shaq. I really felt the Kings earned that title. Like, and even then, in that moment, I didn't care how he got the ball. I didn't care what they did. When anyone else scored, we were pissed. We wanted Kobe to have the ball in his hands, and we were all for Chucker Kobe. And whatever he had to do to cross, because again, no one had scored 80 ever. You had gotten the 70s. Well, that is 100. No one had ever scored in the 80s. So him crossing the 80 threshold was freaking huge. People, I guess, didn't watch that game because to score that much points, that's what you have to do. When there's only so many possessions, there's only so much time, and other teams are trying to make sure you don't score. Like, it's funny, but we didn't have social media, so it was heralded. It was honored. They paid homage to it. They didn't care how Kobe got his 81. To me, anyone who watched Bam play like that and then has criticism has never watched Bam play basketball. That is the antithesis how Bam Adebayo plays basketball. That's actually the way I wanted Bam Adebayo to play for the last 6 to 7 years. The fact that Bam played that way was literally everyone in the organization said, Bam, you better play this way. Like, Spo wasn't taking him out. No one else was touching the ball. Bam was literally going against his better instincts to play that way. So I think it's hysterical that people around the NBA are losing their mind. Well, it wasn't real. Look at all the free throws. Did you watch James Harden's entire career? Did you watch Manu Ginobili's entire career? Have you watched Jalen Brunson go from being average to great? You want to know what's different? He's learned how to foul hunt. SGA won an MVP, foul hunting. Bam Adebayo does not play basketball that way. Like, what happened last night?
That was your big criticism. Passive aggressive, I guess.
Was Bam playing great for 3 quarters, and then the Heat saying, you know what? You have 60-something points. We're going for it. And I commend them for it because it's not what the Heat normally do. Normally the Heat would have sat them and worried about the game. They won by, it didn't even judge. They got bigger leads as they were doing it. So it was actually working.
It was against the Wizards too. So, I mean,
and that's
so
fine.
look, what are you going to do? You may as well entertain the crowd at that point. They
Go
scored
for
150 points.
Go for it. If he ends up with 73, like, and
80.
he could have gotten, no, I'm saying if he ends up with 73, again, because the last 6 minutes was them literally just fouling, letting the Wizards go to the line, or giving them an easy basket, and then forcing Bam the ball, and Bam either making a basket, missing, getting a rebound, or getting a foul. Like, they were going for 81. Like, they weren't hiding it. They were clear about it. I don't.
How often do you even have a chance where you're
exactly
within range of getting a record like that? Second highest total by a player individually. All right. I mean, there are going to always be people. Andy's saying I might have cheapened it a little bit, and he's a huge basketball fan.
You know how Wilt got his 100? You know how Wilt got his 100? It was that. That's how Wilt. You can't get 100 points in a game unless your team is force feeding you the ball and making sure you get extra possessions.
Well, that was Wilt Samoa, though. I mean, it was a different story. Wilt, I mean, if you look through the list of the highest scoring totals ever by an individual, Wilt's got like 4 out of the 5. I mean, he had 70 any number of times. Wilt, how got his 100 by going 28 of 32 from the free throw line, a notorious 50% bricklayer, and he shoots 28 out of 32 free throws. Remember how many times he changed his style? He went overhand, underhand, tried every which way to try and be a better free throw shooter, and he never was. But that night he was. So that led to the stick that he scored. Bam goes 20 of 43 from the field. You don't see him take 43 shots. At one point, was he not like hitting a wild percentage of 3-point shots? I think he had made like his first 5. Is that correct, Lubie? Was he 5 for 5 from 3-point range early in the ball game when he had the 30?
7 threes, and he'd only missed like 2 or 3. Like the first 3 quarters.
So then he must have gone 2 for 17 from 3-point range after that.
No, he was just chucking. Like in the fourth quarter was literally him chucking. Like and again, it was the Heat. The Heat were telling him to do, like the play again. People didn't watch the Kobe game. I did. I watched the entire second half of that.
Oh, yeah, he was chucking.
It was that, guys. No, you're right. He didn't get the fouls. Yeah, because he was Kobe and he was making jumpers. Like,
no, he was making shots too.
If he got fouled, he went to the line. Like, and again, the Bam fouls were fouls. Like everyone who's bitching about the free throws, watch James Harden, watch Jalen Brunson. Those are not fouls. Last night was like they were triple teaming Bam to make sure that the Raptors were letting Kobe get it. The Raptors were doing one-on-ones and letting Kobe score on old Jalen. what the hell is his name? The one from Jalen Rose. Like Jalen Rose was old. They were defending Kobe one-on-one with Jalen Rose. That was not last night. The Wizards did not want to give it up. The Wizards were triple teaming.
They were not going to cramp out of Adebayo.
And they were
even early in the game. I mean, no, that was a roughly played game.
They were at the end. They were fouling. The last foul that broke it was Bam with the ball in open court. After 3 guys were covering him, he somehow got open, got it, dribbled, and 2 dudes tackled him. I'm sorry, there's nothing questionable about that. It's pure the fact that he had the stamina to put up that many shots when he's a guy that doesn't. Like, I don't know if he's ever gotten 40. Like Bam.
And the surprising thing was, I mean, and Spo said I wasn't taking him out. You're thinking they already had a game under wraps. They were up 20 points throughout most of the ball game, with the final margin being 150 to 129. So they win the ball game by 21 points. Was never really threatened. The only thing that was in jeopardy might have been the 15 on a hook that you were taking with the Wizards if you had the spread. That sort of dissipated in the third quarter. And he was on fire in the first quarter. I don't have any problem with it. It's sort of a meaningless regular season game against a team that's been in the tank for most of the season, and in fact, for most of the last 10 seasons. And so, go for it. What the hell? Have some fun. That made it wildly entertaining. And look, this is the Heat were playing great basketball going into this game. You mentioned it yesterday on the show. We were talking about trying to figure out whether the Heat actually are a good team and on the ascent, or are they just a team that beats up on scrub teams. They beat a couple of decent teams in that 5-game winning streak, now 6. And so I don't have a big problem with it. If you're going to do something like that, you pretty much have to go to an extreme and do things that are out of the ordinary. So I don't have any. I don't see this as the Gator flop. I don't know about. Obviously, you don't either, Lubie. But people are going to denigrate the performance, saying that at the end it just got to be a circus. And Adebayo goes 36 of 43 from the free throw line.
Bam's usually like an 80-something% free throw shooter. Bam often goes 1 of 2. So just putting him at the line, this isn't Ray Allen. Like, they weren't giving him points. He was, again, every foul they've now shown, because there's so many old morons that are trying to denigrate this because Kobe did it and Kobe died. So, and Bam is not an all-time great. Bam is
his average per game for his career is 16.2.
An all-time great defensive player. He's a really good player. He's not an all-time great. So to have this guy pass Kobe, the deceased Kobe, is pissing them off. But they didn't watch the Kobe game. I did. It was this. But the only difference was Toronto let him have the points, and the Wizards tried mightily to not let Bam have the points. The Wizards did not want Bam to break that record. Bam forced his way into it. Bam was played away. He's never Kobe. It's natural for him to be a ball hog. That is not how Bam. Again, if Bam had played like that his whole career, Bam would be a Hall of Famer. Like, we've been waiting for Bam to play like that. Bam, the Heat were down 4 starters and I think 5 players. So Bam had to play like that for them to beat a bad team. They're in the middle.
Out, Hero out.
Powell, Hero, Wiggins, and Ware were out. And
it made it wildly entertaining. I have to side with people that are and look, it's such an aberration here. His previous high total for any individual game, and the guy's been in the league for a while now, 32 points. So he eclipsed that by 51 points, his all-time career high. I thought immediately when I saw him get 31 and a quarter, I thought that's got to be close to the record all-time for points in a quarter by any NBA player. Klay Thompson holds the record at 37, and there are a few guys that have been in between that 37 and the 31 of Bam Adebayo. Made for an interesting conversation piece, that's for sure. But I don't have a big problem with it, Lubie. It's remarkable. Bam Adebayo has been a very reliable player. He's taken more than a share of criticism, including from you, his biggest fan and detractor. So, and look, everybody's talking about it today. I don't know. I always hated the phrase, well, it's water cooler material, because who the hell ever goes to the water cooler? Did you, Lubie?
No,
I don't remember you ever being at a water cooler at the radio station.
We had the coffee pot. I guess people would gather around the coffee. And in the main area.
Hey, did you see Bam last night?
But yeah, we didn't have a water cooler.
All right. So we have that debate, and I'm on the side. I'm on your side. I just thought it was crazy entertaining. But by the time I saw him in the fourth quarter going for the record, he was just chucking threes from the
100% chucking, 100% not. I just love the Wizards coach. It became a joke. How? Like, again, here's my thing. If
The
they
Wizards coach should look in the mirror and realize that his team is a
Yes.
joke. Yes.
If it goes, they go to that strategy and then the lead shrinks, right? But they still stay to that strategy because they want to get them in and they risk the game. That's a different story. They didn't. The lead got bigger. So that strategy, just like the hack a Shack garbage, where it worked until it didn't, that strategy worked for winning the game. The lead, you're actually wrong. The game was hung around between single and double digits. The game wasn't a blowout until the late fourth when they went to that strategy. The game, they grew the lead with that strategy. So, as crazy as it is that they were either letting them score easily or fouling to get the ball back, they then almost scored every time. So
He scored
it
150
worked.
points in the game.
It worked and
Yeah.
grew the lead. So to me, I don't care. I don't care. Again, I didn't see when Devin Booker had 70 something. You're telling me he wasn't hunting? Did you ever watch Devin Booker in his prime score? Like,
I think Devin Booker just plays like that in general.
exactly. Kobe played like that in general. So it's so weird to see Bam do this.
Unreal, yeah.
I think he should get more credit because it's not his game.
No.
Like, he does not play that way. He actually, again, only plays that way if you've looked at his career when the Heat needed it. In that Eastern Conference Finals versus Celtics, when Jimmy Butler was hurt and it looked like the Heat weren't going to go to a game 7, and Bam put up like 38, or it was like 32, 15.
32 is his all-time high.
He put some weird, remember in that conference finals, he did put some heroic game together because he needed it. Then literally the next game, game 7, he went with Butler playing, he went back to scoring like 18. Like, that's not his game. So to me, I'm not going to chastise him for doing something. He's not the guy that chases stats.
And have some fun with it, yeah. I mean, I'm with you on this one, Lubie. And you've been one of Bam's biggest critics about his style of play, waiting for him to break through and do something, not necessarily like this, but once it got to that point where he had the 31 in the first quarter, and I think tuned in the second quarter, he had like 45 late in the second quarter, and you saw what was happening. Look, it became a free-for-all without Adebayo. Just, I mean, he literally was coming over half court and throwing the ball up there. He looked like Trae Young, who was on the bench for the Wizards. Look, a lot of fun. Made for a very entertaining game. Anybody that's sour who would be the last guy to defy the protocol that would be proper for playing basketball would be Pat Riley.
And Spo.
Yeah.
Yes, Spo's usually the guy that takes guys out in these moments.
Yes.
And Spo never smiles. And Spo's always coaching until the last second.
Brought a lot of joy to the team. Yeah.
He was smiling and getting into it. And it's like, okay, good. That's what I was all right. If the Heat are giving their stamp on this, the NBA will too, because the Heat never do things like this. So to see all this stuff this morning, like last night, people weren't talking like this. Last night, people were giving him credit. This morning, everyone, because no one's watched the game, they all look at the stats and go, oh my God, 43 free throws for Bam Adebayo. He doesn't even 15. It's like, exactly. He was getting murdered.
There were plays early in the game where there were a lot of shoving matches going on. It almost looked like that Buffalo Sabres game against the Lightning the other night that we talked about. All right. So Bam Adebayo gets 83, and people are pissed off. That's
yeah. How do you get there? Like
in a game against the Wizards are doormats in the NBA forever, perennially. So it seems like no matter what. You talk about the process with the Philadelphia 76ers. This process has been going on since before Michael Jordan ended up with the Wizards with Leonard Hamilton as his coach. Premature evaluations, Lubie. You know we love this. And this happened to Mark DeRosa, who is the manager of the USA World Baseball Classic contingent there, which seems to be I was speculating as I was looking at the lineup. We know there are other great players from around the world, and that the international aspect of baseball has fully taken place and anchored itself in the major leagues. Some of the best players, obviously, Dominican, Japanese, Venezuelan, Puerto Rican, even Mexican. And now it boils down to this. DeRosa goes on a podcast or some kind of broadcast on MLB Network and says, well, we might not necessarily go full bore here against Italy because we've already clinched a spot in the knockout round, which would be the next stage of the World Baseball Classic. Team was, I think, 3-0, and I think they were 3-0, and they looked like they were going to move on to the quarterfinals, which is the knockout stage where it's just one game and it's elimination. So they go through this round robin thing, and they have Italy on the schedule. And what did Rocky Colavito come back? I mean, what
The
the hell
lineup
happened?
is horrendous. Again, I'm not even trying to judge. Like John Birdie starts. John Birdie doesn't start in the majors. Like this is a tournament where your best players of your country are there.
Yeah.
John Birdie's the biggest name on the roster, and he doesn't start in Major League Baseball. Like I don't know. Again, Paul Skeens is your third pitcher. Who's McLean? Like how do you give up?
New York Met.
How do you give up 8 runs to that lineup? You have to look at the lineup when you get a chance. It's horrendous. Like
McLean came up last year, lit it up for the Mets, and Nolan McLean, and highly touted. I guess he, had an off night or whatever. But
he got hit.
I remember I got in trouble one time because I was goofing around trying to have people call in on when I first started at WQAM with the first team, Joe Rose, Steve Goldie Goldstein, a show that still people say was one of the great shows.
They talk about it. Yep.
And I don't know that I necessarily felt that way when I was doing the show, but I'm glad people enjoyed it because you're not always the best judge of your own performances. And I wasn't sure in the beginning, especially, that there seemed to be. You ever get on a show where there was a hostile vibe, Lubie? You really didn't experience too much of that, I don't think. But
No.
where it almost seemed adversarial
You had 3 strong personalities. You had 3 guys that had their own agendas.
Yeah.
And not even negative. It's just like Goldie's always been ambitious. Joe Rose is ambitious, and you have your own ambition.
I'd already done my stuff. I kind of.
So that's the thing. Like people think, oh, it was a great group of guys together, and I'm sure on air you guys were good, but you guys,
it got better as time went on.
Trying to fight for theirs,
Yeah.
like that's especially in the beginning, like that's just how it is. Look, we love Goldie in the end, but when they first brought up Goldie, I'm like, we had been doing our own thing for a little bit, and we had a little groove going. So it was like, and Goldie was a good dude. We had nothing against Goldie. It was just
good guy.
You don't know what you're getting into. He has his own career. He has his own things going on.
Yeah.
Like you just don't know. And again, Joe Rhodes is a really good dude too. So it's just, you just don't know. There's nothing. I don't think people get weird about it. I don't. I understand everyone has their own ambitions. So when you just force feed guys together, like people hear about Francesca and Russo, like, oh my God, they weren't friends. It's like, yeah, they both wanted to be number one. And when you're on
that happens a lot. I mean, that's not uncommon. In this case, I would say that a more of a compassion for each other evolved.
Yeah, you guys were friends.
Whereas in the beginning, there were a lot of tensions, and especially management was putting pressure on. We used to have these post-show meetings where nobody spoke to each other, and then eventually somebody would say something, and immediately there would be arguments that ensued. And got pretty ugly there in the very beginning. Over time, I think we did that for like 6 years. And over time, it got to be much more of a friendlier vibe, and we had a real good time, better chemistry together. No doubt about that. But yeah, it was pretty strange, to be in that situation where there was just a general hostility going around. But and now that I got into that, I forgot which way I was going. What we were talking about in the beginning here, Lubie.
Well, we were talking about USA. We're talking about
USA. Yeah,
talking. The skipper did something
premature evaluation. He goes on a show on the MLB Network and says that they've clinched a spot.
Oh, they hadn't clinched? Well, I know now they haven't, but I didn't realize that he actually assumed they had clinched.
He assumed they had clinched. He goes ahead and says that the lineup may be different tonight. And I guess he did run a different lineup out there.
He did.
They get behind, as you said, make a comeback against Italy, who – oh, yeah, that's where I was going with that whole thing with the first team was I got in a jackpot. I was goofing around talking about what if we put together the all-Italian team, position by position. So, you had like Rico Petrocelli at shortstop, and Tommy Lasorda, of course, was the manager. Different Rocky Colavito was part of the team. I'm trying to name Italian players around the lineup there.
Rocco Baldelli was a good player for the Rays, became a skipper after that. And I presume he's Italian. And it was Rocco Baldelli.
I think so, yeah. I mean, at the time, I was capable of naming, the Italian team that was pretty representative. And I never forget the general manager, Greg Reed, calls to the hotline. Whenever the hotline rang, it was never a good thing. It was not usually a guest. It was usually a guy that was thinking that his entire life was at stake with every word that we said. And he says, if you don't cut that out right now, people were having a ball with it too. I mean, they were calling.
Yeah, that's even to this day a PC. That's not, people don't get worried about Italians.
It
When he
wasn't,
was in Nazi.
it wasn't even about, it wasn't
Yeah,
even
he
close
looked
to
in
that. It was
Nazis.
just like coming up with all these your favorite like Italian players. So I mean, we were able to put together a pretty good team, but I don't know that you can right now, can you? Lubie, who the hell would you if you're saying that John Birdie, former utility man who is an effective player, was with the Marlins, and people liked him because he was always hustling, and said, I don't know, where's Birdie today?
I don't know.
He's been
I'll look it
knocking
up.
around the
Obviously,
majors. He's usually somewhat effective.
he's fine. He's a nice player, but
Yeah.
there was him. I'll look it up. And one other name I had heard of. And again, and they were like starting in the key cogs in the thing. Like, I haven't cared that much about this thing because, like, to me, until they got to the quarters and semis, it's not that big of a deal. Like Japan, USA, DR felt like they were just a cut above. But my wife now, because DR is playing well and Venezuela is playing well, and they play tonight. Both factions are like going at each other on TikTok. So my wife, who doesn't care about sports at all, her whole family, I guess there was one of these games was in DR. So her whole family was at the game. So Shirley's like really into it. So it got me sort of into it. And I was looking forward to the next round because Puerto Rico is legit. Venezuela is legit. DR is legit. Japan, US. So it's like, okay, so the quarters, let alone the semis, should be really good. And they're playing hard. I'm like, all right. And Skeens pitched his ass off the other day. So I'm like, and he's their third starter. I'm like, okay, this could be really fun. And then the Bam thing happened. So I totally forgot about the US playing. And then I woke up and I'm like, they lost it.
I couldn't believe they lost. Yeah.
What the hell? I thought it was a joke. I thought it was okay. So we're making fun of things now. Bam got 83, so now we have to make fun of things. I'm like, how could they? I don't even know. So I'm like, let me look at the lineup. Maybe because I don't watch baseball like I used to. Maybe there's some young guys that happen to be Italian that are playing for Italy because they couldn't get on America's roster. And I'm like, what the hell lineup is this? I'm like, who is this pitch? I'm like, and then 6 runs is represented, but I'm like, they should have put up like 12 against Italy. And how do they not hold Italy to like 3? I mean, how does Italy get 8 runs? And I'm looking at the lineup. I'm like, John Birdie is the most recognizable name.
Pretty amazing, yeah. But and DeRosa with the premature evaluation ends up. I mean, with literally his foot in his mouth because if Mexico beats Italy tonight, USA is eliminated from the knockout stage of the tournament. Something I never thought would happen when I was looking at that roster.
Not even in the
Just
quarters.
Jesus. Don't even make it to the next round. They don't get out of the round robin stage. Unbelievable, Libby. That was, I mean, just a wild headline. And then Gino to the Jets. Of course, from my New York Post, the speculation was no way they ever reunite themselves with Geno Smith. And sure enough, they make a trade to acquire Geno Smith as their quarterback, although it's a different Geno than the one that left the Mets in terms of his credentials. He's established himself as a reasonably decent NFL quarterback. I don't know. I mean, with the Raiders last year, can you judge him on that? And then oddly, in the carousel of players that are changing teams via free agency, Lubie, remember yesterday, Jason Cole, one of the most emphatic statements he made on the show was that the biggest transaction that took place in terms of influencing teams was Max Crosby going to the Baltimore Ravens. And now they have nixed that deal because of Crosby's physical. The Ravens had concerns that he's in worse shape than they originally thought.
Oh, geez.
And so they rescinded their offer and sent Crosby back to the Raiders. So that deal's off. So that was kind of interesting.
That's weird.
NFL Insider, I don't know. I never want to knock Jason Cole, but should we not have had some kind of
No, I don't know.
inclination? Who had that information first?
Crosby, I don't even see Crosby's not one that's hurt a lot, so I don't know. That's interesting.
He was out towards the end of last year with an injury. I guess he has a knee injury, and maybe it's more severe than people thought.
He's an older dude now, yeah.
All right, we're going to transition here into a little old school. Let's welcome to the show Tony Segreto.
What do you want to talk about?
Yeah.
Whatever you got, Tony. I mean, we're an open book here.
Well, let's see. The weather's nice.
Weather's been very, very nice. It's going to get warm.
Wow. There's so much going on. How do you pick? Wow. It's just a lot going on.
It's been great. All right. Well, where do you want to
Bam Adebayo, I got to say this.
Yeah.
If you were, I was like everybody else. I was focused on another game or something else. And then in the third quarter, I think it was, he was like 60 or something.
Yeah, like 67, I think, to end the third.
I said, wow.
Yep.
So I switched over and it was amazing. People can say what they want, but at the end of the day, he scored 83. What was it? 83?
83, yeah.
What can you say?
Yeah,
Hey,
no. Look, that's what happened to me. I wasn't even paying attention to it. And then Dave Hyde tweeted, Bam has 31 after one. And I was like, what? Bam out of, I was like, what is that? So I'm like, let me see where he's at now. I'm like, oh, maybe he'll end up with 50. Good for him. And it was the third quarter and he had 67. I'm like, what the hell? I'm like, oh my God, my thing's broken. I'm like, oh, my stats broken. I'm like, oh, that's annoying. I have to download the app again.
yeah.
I really re-downloaded the app because I didn't believe it. I'm like, Bam doesn't get 67. I'm like, that's not even plausible. And then I'm like, okay, this thing still says it. So I text my friends. I'm like, I think Bam Adebayo has 67 points. They're like, yes, he does. I'm like, holy crap. So I don't, my stupid ass TV thing doesn't have the Heat thing, the Heat channel. So I'm like trying to find places to watch the freaking game. I'm scorecasting it. I'm like, what the hell is going on with this game? And then the Celtics and the Spurs were playing, and they were playing a really good game. And I was like, all right, I can watch this. And then thank goodness with like 3 minutes left, they just said, screw that game and went over to the Bam Fest. And I got to watch that. And I'm like, I don't know. I have a problem with it. I am a Heat player, but I hated the Lakers. I hated Kobe. And it was very similar when Kobe got his 81. And I was all for it. I was like, Phil, you better never take him out. You better just give him the ball, goddammit. And everyone get out of the way. It should be 1-on-5. Like, again, I don't have a problem with it. I thought it was great. And everyone was talking about it. So whatever negative angle you have on it, again, Defo and I talk about it. Like, it's one of those moments that whatever side you'll remember. You'll remember it. And those
where you were, what you were doing, everything about the night, it's history. Now, it's history.
All right, who would you take at shortstop? Rico Petrocelli or Phil Rizzuto? You're Italian, Tony. We're talking about the all-time greatest.
Phil Rizzuto.
Okay, former MVP, maybe a better career overall. Joe DiMaggio in center field.
Joe DiMaggio.
Joe D gets in there. Yogi Berra behind the plate.
Yogi Berra.
Piazza, would you have him on the team behind the plate?
Yes.
Oh, not over Yogi.
Do you have DH? Is DH a thing in this thing that you've come up with?
Tony Lazzari at second base.
Yes.
Tony Lazzari. Lubie had what would you have? You had
Baldelli, Rocco Baldelli. I mean, he was an all-star. He was a solid.
Tony Lazzari would.
I don't know. I don't know old school. I'm leaving that to you.
Ron Santo at third. How about Ron Santo?
Ron Santo. Wow.
Craig Biggio, could he be the second baseman?
Yes, he's Hall of Famer.
Calavito's on that team. John Franco, obviously coming out of
the closer. Yeah.
Would you have Tony La Russa or Tommy Lasorda as your manager?
Oh, Jesus.
Or Joe Torre?
Oh, God. That's tough. That's three of the top five,
probably. All three of them. All three of them.
Yeah, maybe they're
the outfield, the infield.
That's not the group that beat USA last
year. Calavito's in my outfield along with Joe DiMaggio. That's for sure. Oh, that wasn't, those guys weren't on the roster?
That is not the group that beat USA last night.
Is that possible?
That was embarrassing. Embarrassing.
It's just weird. I mean, the strange part was this. Speaking of Italians, Mark DeRosa, I would imagine, is of Italian descent.
Yep.
I'm not familiar with him. I don't know where did he come from as the manager of this team. What was his background? I know he's not a major league manager.
Is that the Mark DeRosa that played for the Braves forever? Could be. I don't know the manager. I know that name sounds very familiar. He was like a utility dude for like Mark Lemke was in the early 90s, and I feel like he was like late 90s, early 2000s. I have to look him up. Yeah, I don't know him as a manager, but that name sounds very familiar as a player.
This McLean must have served up many meatballs there. It must have looked like Cafe Monterano, sauce flying all over. 8 runs for Italy. Mexico, we're going to be rooting for Italy tonight, Tony. Otherwise, it's over. It's over, Johnny. It's over. I was looking forward to it. I thought maybe you could grab us some credentials for Lone Shark Park, and we'd catch the USA team in the semifinals and the finals, but maybe not even getting to that point. That's unreal. All right, we have to take a brief timeout. Tony Segreto, Old School, brought to you by Texas Roadhouse Restaurants. Ed Garcia going to join us here. We'll get into some baskets. Long Island, baby. That's where real ball is being played. You can go into Brooklyn and Queens and the Bronx there and go to Rucker Park, but the Jews on Long Island that were playing ball with fundamental soundness drinking champagne today because both Hofstra and LIU make it to the NCAA tournament.
Oh, nice.
How about that? All right, back with more in a moment on that. Long live the Jews. It's 8:40.
Hey, folks, Tony Segreto here. Let me ask you a question. What do you look for when you go out to eat? Good food, obviously, friendly atmosphere, not too loud, but good energy, reasonable prices, and a place where you feel comfortable. All those ingredients, no pun meant there, are hard to find unless you're talking about the Texas Roadhouse. You see, they encompass all of those attributes. Really, really good food, amazing atmosphere, good for a family, good for a date, or just a night out for yourself, and prices that will make you extremely happy. Their ribs unmatched. Steaks hand cut every day. Everything, and I mean everything, is made on site, including their incredible bread. It's the one day, folks, that you can forget about low-carb diets. Trust me when I tell you, Texas Roadhouse, your restaurant, your destination when you say, where should we go and eat tonight?
From the newly renovated sports bar to the beautiful bayside views captured at the Tiki Bar, Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill has it all. Located at mile marker 104, the Big Chill also offers waterfront dining while experiencing breathtaking sunset views of the Florida Keys. It's simply the hottest spot in the Keys to cool off. That's Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill at mile marker 104 in Key Largo. For more information, call today at 305-453-9066.
Joe Bees. The bees collect the pollen, bring it to Joe, he packages it, and he gets it to you. It's simple, 100% natural, and it's good for you.
There's only one place to get Joe Bees, and that's from me. Joe B.
If you want to look and feel good, call 877-300-5632.
What we gonna do right here is go back, way back into time.
We are now kicking it old school with the one and only Tony Segreto, brought to you by Texas Roadhouse.
Tell me, doctor, where are
All
we?
right, welcome back to the show. The big news coming out of the NBA. I don't know if you anticipated Geno Smith returning to the Jets, Tony Segreto.
No.
I was just reading any number of columns and articles and opinions a couple of days ago about how that should never happen. I always love that when that takes place, where the
Should never
media is on one side and everybody is recommending, no way, man, it was such a bitter, ugly experience when Geno was with the Jets. He's most remembered for getting punched in the bbase by a guy he was claiming owed him $600. If you saw the Hard Knocks with Rex Ryan, it looked like he wanted to get Geno Smith knocked out. And then Geno goes on and actually distinguishes himself pretty well with the Seattle Seahawks. Played last year with the Raiders, which, I don't know, can you knock a guy for not necessarily lighting it up when he's playing with a really bad organization? Which you could say the same, although the Jets weren't horrendous as they are now back then when Rex was coaching. They did kind of go in a decline, but I didn't see that working. And then, of course, Tony, we had a little football development here in town. We finally figured out what dead cap money is. Remember we were trying to figure that out last week? Dead cap money is dead cap money. That's what it is.
Literally money that counts against your
Literal dead cap money.
that aren't on your roster.
We were trying to find some nuance in there, some idiosyncratic Larry Bird-like rule that made it not as prohibitive as the actual amount was. But the Dolphins now have $100 million over the next 2 years in dead cap money because of Tua leaving and getting cut. He ends up with the Atlanta Falcons, where I don't know if he has a chance to start, but what do you think about all these developments here? This is your beloved team that you covered forever, Tony Segreto, and they now have become the Green Bay Packers South. And
Honestly,
my theory on it is, okay, the Packers, as I recall, I asked Lubie yesterday, did they win the championship last year? And even Lubie was aware of the fact, not that he would not be aware of it, but everybody knows they didn't win squat.
no.
Right? Packers, what they do? Did they make the
Lost in the
playoffs?
first round.
Knock down the first round.
I think they lost in the first round.
So why would you think that getting their second tier of executives and quarterbacks was going to be some revolutionary move that was going to catapult a really bad team into being good? I don't know. What do you think about all this?
Yeah. That's all you know what? The three of us could do as good a job as them.
Well, I mean, this was upper level
You know,
management.
Mr.
Obviously,
Lubie?
bringing us in.
I don't know. I don't know what to do with any of it. I'm very at a loss about Jason Cole explained things, and I appreciate his opinion. To pay $290 million to leave, I don't get it. To bring in Malik Willis in the middle of a rebuild, I don't get it. To focus money 90. What is it? Willis is getting 20 something million and Tua is getting 54. So what's it? 70 something. To focus 70 something million on the quarterback position when you don't have offensive and defensive lines seems weird to me. To have one have on the roster.
Malik Willis may end up being, all pro, but to the eye, to the fan base, this looks like a bad move. Plain and simple, bad move.
I don't see it that way. I mean, look, and Lubie was super hypercritical of the whole thing, and I thought, geez, if you're playing, they clearly decided that they couldn't do anything with Tua Tagovailoa. Okay, so
I agree. I admit
He
that.
was- the poor guy. Say what you want. The poor guy was beaten.
poor
up.
is not a good
He was
word to use.
He's not poor.
I mean, we should be so broke. Let's look, he had a shot. The mistake was made by Chris Greer when they had the big debate. And sometimes, look, you have to know when to hold him, know when to fold him. The old Kenny Rogers song. If they hadn't pulled the trigger, which was widely and hotly debated on giving him the second contract, then no loss. I mean, they had to see this. You talk about a premature evaluation with the Italy-USA game and the manager saying they had clinched. In this case, they needed to know that the year before that Tua was not going to be the man. And they couldn't figure that out. And they gave him the deal, and that's impeded him. But Willis showed enough, flashes here and there. I don't know if he's going to be the answer, but I think he's kind of worth the shot. Huh?
He's not the answer, but
he might be. I mean, it's not out of the question.
He'll hold the spot until somebody else comes in.
All right, let's. Speaking of somebody else coming in, this is not just any somebody else. It's the great Ed Garcia. I mean, you talk about a management genius here, and I was thinking about you last night or 2 nights ago, Ed. I was having dinner at a local restaurant, and I thought, wow, these people here are really well trained. And they know how to present the sort of vibe and philosophy of the restaurant. Now, it wasn't quite a Texas Roadhouse vibe because that's a little bit more upbeat and festive. And this was more down home, sort of quiet, trying to be sophisticated. But I thought, wow, this is a really well-trained staff that they know what they're doing. They're working together. And, it's just like any good coach. You're able to do that with your Texas Roadhouse restaurants. And I thought, this is very Ed Garcia-esque, the way these guys are operating. So, a tip and a hat to you and the way the Texas Roadhouse does its business. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing great. How are you guys doing?
Morning.
Just fine. It's dandy.
Doing great. I mean, the headlines are screaming today. We couldn't have a better day to talk some sports. I don't know if you caught the Bam Adebayo thing. Certainly, it's being debated hotly on social media. As Lubie alluded to, it takes the people on social media, the critics, a while to wake up and realize, hey, here's something that we can just disparage. And all the negativity pours in. But what did you think of that? Him getting the 83, and of course, obviously the Heat left him in there in the game and had him chucking up every shot.
Well, again, I would have coached it a little bit differently, but I didn't spend too much time on it because I'm just getting ready here for March Madness coming around the corner. I think I'm kicking off this Friday at noon.
Yes,
brought my boy Snoop. He that back
you got him in the background there. Nice.
Michigan's going to win. See, he's all over it. So, I'm feeling pretty good about Go Blue.
Very nice. And that seems to be the consensus of opinion that there are maybe 5 teams, the top 5 teams, that can actually win this thing, and it's nobody else. I mean, it's the Lilliputians after that.
It's going to be the outlier. It's going to be the somebody to root for that's not in the top 10, 20. And it's going to be, it's going to be a St. Peter's. It's going to be a, teams like that are going to run it because they're hot.
Yes.
And if they're not hot, you see, that's what basketball brings to the game. If you're hot, no one's stopping you.
It's about just clicking with your teammates. When you just know where they're going to be and you have that connection, which is it's chemistry. March Madness is defined by chemistry within your players. If you trust them, you won't lose. That's it.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the myth of the Sisyphus, though, where you push this rock all the way up to the top of the mountain, especially when you get these Cinderella stories. And then eventually you're facing a knockout punch that is too devastating because when you look at the top 5 teams, which now include Florida, Michigan, of course, Arizona, maybe throw Houston in there and Duke. I don't know. I mean, I don't see any of these mid majors or some of these teams like I was talking about. We're all happy about LIU, Long Island University, and Hofstra, us Long Islanders getting into the tournament. But even if they win a game or two, I don't know. How do you get past the heavyweights in this tournament, Ed Garcia? Do you see anybody? I just don't see a Cinderella story going all the way to the top here, or even maybe slipping into the Final Four.
There's going to be one of the top contender teams that's just going to come in a little bit overconfident, and they're going to be thinking about not the game that they're playing, but the game that's going to be after that. And that's when you're going to get snuck up on and beat. So the little David and Goliath story right there for sure.
Is there a bracket that circulates around Texas Roadhouse? How many locations is it now? I would imagine your type of, the way that you guys conduct business, this would be a universal bracket pool for all of your employees. No, I guess it would be illegal. I don't know. I mean, if you're not playing for money, there would be no point of playing not for money.
We're playing for fresh baked bread, and so
all the rolls you can eat.
Yes, and that way, bread can mean a lot of different things. So I should probably clarify that the actual bread, so that way I don't have.
Yeah, no, that's good. Yeah,
alcohol commission knocking on my door. No, but we actually just broke 50 in Florida. We opened recently in Mount Dora.
How'd that go?
Went really well. I mean, Orlando is absolutely on fire. That's one of the counterparts. We've opened about 3 in just the last 6 months, and we got one more. We're opening a second one up in Kissimmee. So for all the Disney and Universal fans that head up that way, we're going to have 2 in Kissimmee that you can hit, right after the park. So it's blowing up. And, Davey, I'm actually taking to committee here at the end of this month. March 31st is the big day. I'm going to be dual tagging it that day. We have our softball tournament up where the Nationals used to play. I don't know, Tony, can you get back behind that bat? How you feeling these days? We come in, be a celebrity player?
Pretty good. I feel really, really good.
Every other tournament, we run what we call the corporate team. Our name's the Corporate Raiders. So I bring in a few people, so you're more than welcome to join us. But again, it's over there, Vieira Melbourne Field. It's a great time. But yeah, we have we got another one in Kissimmee coming up, and so we're over 50, about 700-800 almost now nationally. We broke 100,000. 700-800 roadhouses, wow. Over 100,000 employees.
Last year.
This would be a sensational pool if you could make it a university. A person that wins
last I talked,
winner take all could walk away and walk away and retire. Mm-hmm. Even at $10 a pop, which we don't want to suggest, but like you said, it's playing for bread. That Mount Dora area is probably the only area of Orlando that I actually like.
Oh, there you go.
The rest of it, the mosquitoes are the size of clincher softballs, and
they're bigger than that.
It's no, Ed. This is a restaurant thing, and I've spent some time up there with some friends over the years, and they're big kind of foodies. They like to try new places, but isn't it the place where almost every chain restaurant tries to do its launch? Is that it's like experimental ground for chain restaurants, Ed?
Orlando definitely is a hot spot for a lot of concepts. The original Bahama Breeze, which I know is not around anymore. The other one, it's like a barbecue joint. They go in there, and the benefit of Orlando is that I feel like you can have a pretty mediocre or below mediocre concept and be successful because you have a lot of only time guests. It's not, they don't come in for the first time. It's just their first time in the US. They see something cool outside. They walk in, you'll never see them again. So that brings, look, Bennigan's lasted there. I think they just closed the doors yesterday.
Really?
No, I'm joking. They closed it
Bennigan's for a while.
They survived in Orlando forever. And just because, once like these convention centers open up, the streets just flood. So
Yeah.
If you could just put something on a stick and a price tag, you're going to make some pretty good money.
Yeah.
So what's it look like in Davie?
Davie's looking pretty good. So I have 2 spots, and so we're going to determine that on the 31st, but I have 2 executed letters of intent. And then I just had one come up out of nowhere. I used to live in the Towel buildings over there in Sawgrass Mills Mall, and the Bahama Breeze has resurfaced. They came in a little too high on the price for me, and the way that we work with our MPs and our owner operators, we got to have a very specific flow through, and it looks like we may be talking. So I didn't think I was going to open that much more in South Florida because rent has gotten out of control.
Yeah.
I mean, what's Brick? I don't know. Did you know what Brickell's number one job is right now, right there? I mean, Tony, it'd be great for it. It's called OnlyFans. So number one job in Brickell. That's the only way you can afford anything in Brickell these days. My wife was showing a 600 flat for like 1.2 million the other day.
Oh my God.
Wow.
I don't even know what I could do with 600 feet. So claustrophobia. So,
exactly.
But anyway.
Basically a box, yeah. All right. What? Obviously, you're going to be pulling for your Wolverines. But what do you see happening in and how important would the Big Ten tournament be in terms of your overall opinion? And who do you see winning it all?
I feel Michigan's got a very, very good chance. They got to stay in rhythm for sure. But Duke, is always. I mean, they've shown some grit here, and pretty excited for them. We actually in state, I'll tell you, they're a little bit of a secret weapon. I know they've lost to Michigan twice, but they still can pull it off. There's a couple of big teams out there that can come through. I think it's going to be a great tournament. In the beginning, it's just going to be a couple of blowouts. And you'll probably get a couple of upsets here and there. But I think things kick off this weekend, so pretty excited.
Very nice. And any thoughts on the transformation of the Miami Dolphins? Tua gone.
I think overall it's going to be it's good stuff. We really got to just need a full reset. I think that number one is building that culture and the chemistry inside that team. We want the players to show up to practice. We want them to have that discipline and have that winning mentality. And no one else says it better than Mr. Campbell, which is actually our motto for last year and this year, but you need that grit. So you got that grit. You're ready to chew off some kneecaps. You're going to win some games.
We didn't have that psychotic press conference. I always love that when the coach is a psycho.
Oh, yeah.
And, how laughable was that press conference?
It was the best.
I will put more than rabbits out of a hat. Trust me, I got it. So
it was the best. Absolute. When the coach was a psycho, you were all in.
Yeah, you just laughed.
If you were playing for him, you were a little bit.
All right, one last thing. We're transitioning seasons here. We're in springtime and going into summer. A lot of restaurants make adjustments to their menus. Anything in that regard when it comes to all of your fabulous locations of Texas Roadhouse?
We are getting some adjustments. April 1st is the big day. And again, so I've been with Roadhouse 19 and almost a half years, and it's probably been less than 10 items that we've really changed on the menu, which is pretty cool. That allows us to stay great versus everyone else doing those limited time offerings because you're not teaching your cooks something new every 30, 60, 90 days. But a couple locations, Melbourne and Coconut Creek, will be adding deviled eggs, made from scratch. We don't lay the eggs. We have the chicken do that.
But if you could, you would. That's for sure. That's the way you approach everything else.
We switched our combos on the menu that's going to be coming up. So we're going to allow someone like Lubie and Defo yourself. You guys can supersize it because Tony eats like a bird. Dinner that lasts a week.
Tony's sneaky. He orders like 3 entrees.
You don't need to. That lasts that guy a week.
Yeah.
So, we added some new combos, but I think I brought it up before, but we're bringing like a chicken Alfredo pasta
Ooh.
I'm super excited. That's going to be in Coconut Creek.
Oh, nice.
And yes, Coconut Creek, Miami Flagler, and Port St. Lucie will be tested. I think those are the ones that I'm trying to get in on 12 of my menus. We're introducing with, beef. Wait till this summer. When you're going to go grill that a $42 hot dog you're going to grill on July 4th that you paid for at your local grocery store, you're going to be like, what happened? Well, and if you're paying anything less than 42, it's not a real hot dog. Just it's probably full of broccoli and cauliflower. So just be careful because beef is going through the roof. So we're playing with a little bit of pasta. I was pretty excited. It's almost got a little carbonara effect, with some bacon and all this good stuff. But I'll tell you, it's pretty amazing. April 1st, come check it out. But come see us sooner and use the app.
All right, sounds good. Ed, always a pleasure. Tony, thanks for joining us as well. It's old school. Tony Segreto, brought to you by Texas Roadhouse Restaurants, doing a very fine job on everything they do. All right, Lubie, you were the strong one today on the show with your opinion about the whole thing. That was nice. You're always impassioned in anything that you say, and you've been screaming for this forever. I was so happy for you last night. I really was. I never been happier for you. Except
I should have got Rothstein on, because we've asked Rothstein so many times about Bam being aggressive. What's wrong with Bam? Why is Bam not
when Bam, they would lob the ball to Bam around the free throw line, and he wouldn't even face the basket.
No.
And he'd just look around to the guys that were around the 3-point perimeter and eventually just dish the ball off without making any kind of a move. And you thought, my God, you're 6'9" or whatever he is, and a strong, muscular guy. He's
not incompetent. He actually can ball handle. He can pass. He has a nice jumper. He's good around the rim. That's the thing. Look, if you're a clod, it's one thing, but he's not. That's why he's always been frustrating, because he shows little pieces of his game at time where you're like, okay, he can do these things, and then he just doesn't do it, and you're like, okay.
That's the hell is that? Yeah, exactly. That we've been waiting for a long time. The one thing I remember about the Kobe game, if I'm not mistaken, I think he had one assist.
Yeah, he didn't. His numbers weren't great.
He had one assist the night that he scored 81.
And Bam didn't get to a double-double, but he had 9 rebounds, and I think he had like 3 or 4 assists. Like, he played an all-around game, and again, defensively, he was a stalwart, as he's been for the Heat. Have like a top 5 defense. If you look at their team, it's a bunch of older guys, also-rans, and then Bam. Like, to have a top 5 defense, it's all on Bam. He doesn't get enough credit for his team. He has yet to win Defensive Player of the Year, even though he's the best all-around defensive player in the game for the last 6 to 8 years. And the guy is just unselfish. It's literally his biggest issue is that he's unselfish. So to see him do that, and then to see people criticize, it's like, so you have no idea who you're talking about.
I don't know why people are going nuts, these basketball purists.
Because they love Kobe. The Kobe fans are. It's because it was Kobe's 81, and then Kobe's.
They're there to be broken, and it wasn't even a record. That's the thing.
It wasn't. And Kobe was the guy that was all about people threatening his 81. Like, okay, I don't know. I don't get it. I don't get it at all.
It's funny, too, because you're thinking as a basketball player, when you get into some kind of organized ball, that it should be a cinch to average 20 points a game if you're any kind of offensive player. And you're looking at it going, geez, all I need to do is get 5 points a quarter, and I'm scoring 20, which is considered a benchmark. I don't know, maybe higher now, because you're looking at the top scorers in the NBA, and most of them are above like 25 a game. And there's a pretty deep list of it. I was just looking over the statistical leaders today. And so you always thought, well, 20 is a benchmark, and it should be easily achievable. And then you get into organized games, and maybe you're lighting it up in your half-court games or recreationally, and all of a sudden, it's not as easy to score 20 as you think. I don't know if you ever had that kind of experience, but I'm not sure you were called upon to score 20 in your basketball playing days. But I was thinking I have to get at least 20 here to look good. And sure enough, not as simple as it would seem just on paper. So to get 83, I mean, think about that. You're averaging almost 21 points a quarter. Not easy to do, but he managed to do it last night. I don't, because of the circumstances where you beat the Wizards by 21. As you said, they opened up the lead as they were giving a ball to Bam Adebayo. And because it was the Wizards who were perennially at the bottom of the barrel when it comes
they're openly tanking.
I was thinking too prior to that let's say this was the only game that you had tickets to all year long, and you're thinking, geez, not only the Wizards, but I mean, you would at least want them to have Trae Young out there, so you could be amazed at the chucking that this guy does in getting 30 points a game. What a treat it would have been to be at that ball game, because the energy that was reflected and was exuding from the Miami Heat players as this was going on made it just kind of a sidebar. The game was a sidebar to what was happening with Bam Adebayo and his performance. I thought it was a lot of fun. It was Globetrotter-esque. It was great.
It was great.
All right. Thanks to Tony and Ed Garcia for joining us.
Go Italy.
Imagine how we have to root for Italy.
I'm not against Italy. I just don't. I don't understand how that happened. And I guess Puerto Rico lost to Canada.
Valenzuela, I think, is going for the Mexican team.
Yeah, exactly.
Valenzuela.
Exactly.
Did he check out, Fernando? Yeah, he did. Right. Fernando, is he still with us?
No, he passed.
Did he pass a while ago?
Oh. Yeah, it was what, last year or something? One of my all-time favorite ball players. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in. We will see you tomorrow. We'll have a trivia challenge, I believe, with one Dave Gurgling. So
Yes,
you
well.
can beat that. And then Friday, we'll have the professor, some in-depth analysis of conference tournament play. And, of course, and they'll be underway. But the heavyweights will start to tune it up, as a lot of them have buys and double buys now with the size of conferences.
Well, the Heat are now tied with the Raptors for the 5th seed, by the way.
That didn't hurt them any.
Flirting with the 7 to 10 seed on a night where even playing the Wizards, they didn't have 4 of their top 5 guys.
And on top of that, look, the game was much more meaningful for Miami than it was to the Wizards. Miami's trying to stay out of that play-in thing.
They are.
And they managed to take a step forward in doing it. So we'll see with about 17, 18 games to go. All right, we'll see you next time. Thanks so much for joining us. From Mike Lubie Lubitz, I'm Jeff DeForest. See you next time as we leave you know that.
The time.
It's 9:07.
Let's go to eat a damn snack.